Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me first, I guess, Mr. Oxman, let me ask you this question, and in the same line. After 9/11, we talked about having all of our intelligence agencies working closer together, et cetera. And so here, when you talk about preventing data breaches, there are a number of entities that are concerned, whether you're a device manufacturer, whether you're a network operator, whether you're a financial institution or app developer. Seems to me that it would be important that these entities work together to develop an effective, mobile data protection solutions. And in your estimation, is the industry working in a collaborative way, all of the interested parties in doing that? And what, if anything, do you think that Congress can do to ensure greater collaboration so that we can make sure that everybody is working together to try to eliminate this huge problem?
Thank you, Congressman Meeks. I think the good news is, the short answer to your question is yes. The industry, the ecosystem is working enormously smoothly together to deploy the next generation security products and services that we need out there in the market to secure against these increasingly sophisticated cyber attacks. The industry is working collectively through standards bodies like PCI to deploy next generation security technologies like chip technology in cards, like tokenization to take account information out of the system, and like encryption to secure points of entry against intrusion from cyber attacks. The industry, as you noted, is enormously complicated. It does involve a number of different players, from financial institutions to payment processors, merchants, consumers, device manufacturers. And as we move to new technology like mobile payments and wearables, it's going to get even more complicated. But again, I think the good news is we're working very well together to deploy all these next generation technologies, because we all share an interest across the ecosystem in ensuring that our customers feel comfortable shopping at our stores and using electronic payments. As to the second part of your question, Congressman, what can Congress do? I think H.R. 2205 represents the ideal vehicle for addressing what we do need Congress's help with, and that is unifying a patchwork of state laws that are inconsistent and in some cases is incompatible with one another, to address how we let consumers know when something does go wrong. Because criminals are sophisticated and they're going to keep acting, and we need to make sure we're all on the same page when we let our customers know if something happens. And that's where I think Congress can be helpful.
Thank you. Let me ask Mr. Palente. Now I know, and you believe in reading your testimony, you noted that the EMV chip cards have proven very effective, and I've got a number of my cards now that come and got to switch out on them, make sure you have the chip. But one of the questions, and this happens with my daughters, et cetera, now, that they're doing more and more shopping online. People are not going to the store as much, and they're doing shopping online, and it seems as though that there are more frauds that are now taking place when people are doing this shopping online. So can you discuss ways in which firms are innovating to prevent consumers who rely more on the online shopping so that we can prevent frauds and aggregate? And again, like I asked Mr. Oxman, ways that Congress can do to ensure greater data breach protection as we move away from in-store purchases. It just seems as this new generation is just online. My daughters won't go to stores anymore. Everything's online. And what we can do, in that regards.
Congressman, great question. And as was mentioned earlier, the chip cards will go a long way towards eliminating or greatly reducing card-present fraud for the reasons that were mentioned earlier. So that's progress and good, and we applaud that and enthusiastically embrace it. But as we've seen in the other EMV-adopted countries, the fraud then shifts to the online environment. And what happens, of course, is if you make an order online, over the phone or otherwise, you enter in your credit card number, you enter in your 3- or 4-digit code, and your expiration date, and away you go. And so if I've got that information from you, I can make that transaction online, and it's, let's just say it's loose, to put it mildly. So the future of that in the near term is a technology platform called tokenization, which will allow that transaction to occur with a unique set of data that connects needed data to finalize the transaction, but the personally identifiable information isn't necessarily transmitted as part of it. It's a token, one unique signal that goes. That's coming. It's just around the corner, and it's already to market to some extent. But it was mentioned earlier, the cost of it is coming down, the ubiquity is coming, it's becoming more ubiquitous. So that will be a big part of the solution. It was invented 10 years ago, so there'll be something else that'll come next.
Time of the gentleman has expired.